One of the most significant benefits of cloud computing is cost savings. It eliminates the need for upfront capital investment and also cuts down on costs related to hardware, backup systems, software purchases, cost of personnel, and utility. A comprehensive cost benefit analysis must be performed to achieve a holistic assessment of the cloud solution. In this video, let's compare the costs associated with having on-premise email exchange versus cloud-hosted exchange. So we will take into account all the relevant factors that get into a 3-year total cost of ownership calculation for a typical business with 100 users and then compare the on-premise versus cloud-hosted solution. As shown in the table, the major overheads include hardware costs, backup, licenses, personnel, and utility costs. As you can see, the on-premise email exchange requires a primary email server and a secondary email server. In order to filter out spam and virus, it's important to have a firewall setup. To store the email content of all users, along with the attachments and other files, an expandable storage array is required. With increasing usage of emails, the storage array can be augmented once in a year. The total costing comes to about 13,582 US dollars for the on-premise email exchange. Then comes the backup systems. The organization would require high capacity backup storage along with a backup management software. So the combined cost of backup management system is about $7,439. When the email exchange is hosted on the cloud, the organization does not incur hardware and backup system costs. In order to use the email exchange server and software, the organization must purchase licenses. The email solution provider such as Microsoft charges a licensing fee for email server, email management software, client access license proportion to the number of users. The overall licensing cost comes to about $23,914. Licensing fee is applicable for on-cloud solutions as well. So we calculate it as about $36,000 for all the users combined. On-premise email exchange has to be deployed in the first place and integrated with the existing systems. So that requires a deployment consultant. On an average, involving a deployment consultant costs about $25,000. For managing the email servers, storage, and software hosted on-premise, the organization requires adequate personnel and their ongoing salaries, allowances has to be met. So overall, the cost of manpower alone comes to about $125,880 for the period of 3 years. On cloud, it costs about $12,610 as the cloud service provider takes care of all these requirements. Having an on-premise email exchange requires utilities like electricity and cooling unit as it consumes a lot of power and it generates a lot of heat. So the expenses of such utility and maintenance costs sums up to about $4,728. This is absent when it is hosted on the cloud. Overall, the total cost of ownership for on-premise email exchange, which caters to about 100 users for a time frame of 3 years, comes to about $175,543 as against $48,600 for the cloud-based solution. If we break it down further, the total monthly cost per user comes to be about $13.50 for a cloud hosted solution as against $48.76 for on-premise email solution. That means there is a 72% cost savings when it is hosted on the cloud as against hosting on-premise. So this calculation proves that an organization has significant benefits of hosting its email exchange on the cloud instead of having their email exchange on-premise along with the necessary infrastructure. So that's one of the primary reasons various startups across the globe and small and medium enterprises move to the cloud instead of having everything on-premise.